Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Aaron Wilson for Inside the 49. Just wanted to jump on YouTube to talk to you a little bit about the Jason Verrett signing. I know he signed a couple weeks back, but I thought it was relevant to talk a little bit about the signing and talk about the depth chart now that we have the draft completed as we talk about the cornerback room. So the first thing, I mean, it's good news for us. It's good news for the 49ers that they were able to sign Verrett to a 1-year, $1.035 million deal. That's really close to the veteran minimum. It's a really low risk, high reward potential for Verrett if they can get him back to his 2020 season, where he started 14 games for the Niners and really was a shutdown corner. Obviously, the big question mark with the signing and why he didn't make more than $1 million is the injury history. Obviously, back in 2019, when the 49ers signed him, he was coming back from Achilles injury. He obviously wasn't really ready to come back yet. Played in a game or two here, got burned a couple times, and that was pretty much it for the season for him. Now, the question is, coming back from the torn ACL from last year in week 1, is he going to be able to bounce back from that injury? And that's the biggest question. As far as I'm concerned, it's a great upside potential. So if he flames out, he doesn't work out, it's $1 million, but really that's not that big of a deal when you're talking about salaries in the NFL. So I'm excited about the move. I didn't see the 49ers doing this move at all. So I was really impressed that they were able to sign him. It's really a little added value there. So if it works out, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. So let's talk a little bit about him and how he fits in. Obviously, the potential for him is to be one of the starting cornerbacks. And if he can't beat out some of the other guys that we're going to be talking about here in a couple minutes, and he's not ready to go yet, and he can be a backup that they can throw in there, the 49ers are definitely in a better situation than they were last year. And the biggest thing that we know from last year is the cornerback was definitely one of the issues that the Niners had and something they really need to improve on. And I believe they did this offseason. I wish they did a little bit more in the draft, as opposed to selecting, a guy in the 5th and a guy in the 6th. But hopefully it'll work out. I'll always try to stay positive. So let's talk about the rest of the cornerback room. So you got Verrett in there on his 1-year deal. Then you got the other big signing, Charvarius Ward, on his 3-year, $42 million deal. Is obviously set up to the Niners as one of the starting corners, probably on the right side, if I had to guess. We talked a little bit about this in one of the previous videos that I'll link down below to give some in-depth information about Charvarius, but he's definitely going to be one of the starting corners, no doubt about it. So the question is, who's on the other side? Is it going to be Verrett? Is it going to be Ambry Thomas? Is it going to be E-Man, Emmanuel Mosley? We're not sure. So you got Verrett, Ward, right? 2 could be solid cornerbacks for the Niners. You got E-Man, and E-Man I think had a little bit of a tough year last year. He wasn't the guy that we saw 2 to 3 years ago where he's really being aggressive. He was a little bit tentative. I know he's come back from some injury, but there's a big question mark when it comes to E-Man. What is he going to be able to put out there? The other question mark is, are you going to play him on the outside and have him compete with those guys on the outside, or is he the guy that's going to kick inside with K1 leaving and not signing K1 anymore? That is my assumption, and that is my hope, is you can put him in the slot and he can be that good nickel corner. So you got E-Man. All right, you got Ambry Thomas. Highs and lows from last year as a rookie. Definitely had some bad games, but definitely has some good games as well. So there's a lot of potential there for him. They did spend the draft capital last year picking him up, and they're gonna give him a shot. Is he ready? Can he beat out Verrett is the question right now. Like, Ward is solid on one side. The other side, is it going to be Thomas? Is it going to be Verrett? Is what I believe is the real decision that the 49ers have to make. Then you got the man that will never leave, Dante Johnson. And I'll give Dante Johnson some credit. He played fairly well for them. They asked him to play a couple of different positions. They asked him to play in the slot. They asked him to play on the outside. They even had him at safety once or twice last year. And he puts his nose in the ball and he hits people. The only problem is he can't run with anybody. So putting him in the slot is not the right move. So if he's in the slot this year, we are going to have some serious problems. If he's on the team again, I mean, he's going to be, right? Chances are, if I had money to put on it at the end of the year, Dante Johnson's going to be on the roster for at least half of the games, whether good or bad. So you got Dante. And then you got who I think has a lot of potential from what we saw at the beginning of last year, Diamador Lenore, another one of the draft picks from last year as well. Does he get some time? Do they try him out in the slot to see if he can hang in the slot as a slot corner, or is he just a special teams guy? And I think this year is going to tell you a lot in his second year. What are they going to give him? Obviously, in the 49ers' mind, Thomas is ahead of him by a couple steps, and they wanted to really give Thomas a chance to really cut his teeth last year. But I liked what I saw from Lenore, and I don't know why he disappeared. So I'd like to see how the 49ers use him this year. And then you got 2 draft picks. So you got Samuel Womack, who seems to be a guy that are going to throw in that slot position, has some nice short area quickness. So is it a battle between him and E-Man on inside to see who wins that battle? That's a potential with the 5th round pick. I would have liked to see the Niners look, more in the 2nd, 3rd round for these cornerbacks that they really want to be starters. Because when you think about nickel corner, you're really thinking about somebody who's going to be starting, 70% of the snaps. So you really need 3 starting corners. And who's that 3rd guy going to be? Is it going to be Womack or is it going to be E-Man? And then you have 6th round draft pick, Tariq Castro Fields. Where does he fit in? Is he just a special teams guy? He's obviously a late round guy. What can he do, or can he step up and really break into that list? So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. You're not going to be keeping 8. So, one of those guys is going to go. Maybe one of those guys is going to be in a practice squad from there. But that's the room. But the good news is there's some competition there. Is it elite competition? Not necessarily, but there is some strong competition there. If I had to guess right off the bat without seeing anything from OTAs yet or anything like that, my guess would be that Verrett's going to bounce back and be positive. Verrett's going to bounce back from his injury, and he's going to have one of those starting cornerback spots, and then Ward's going to be on the other side, and then E-Man's going to be in the slot. That would what I would say would be the most ideal scenario, as the backup scenario being Ambry Thomas on one side and Ward on the other side with E-Man in there, or maybe potentially Womack. Womack steps up and he can be that slot nickelback. So that is the cornerback room. You got some talent, you got a lot of young potential, and the question is who's going to step up. You got one guy who's definitely going to be out there, 99.999% chance. Ward's going to be at one of the corners. You can lock that in right now. But we got question marks on the other side. So the question is who steps up. And that'll be interesting to see from OTAs, what the word is from some of the younger guys. Be interesting to see from the preseason as well. So that's just a little bit of breakdown, talking about the Jason Verrett signing and the rest of the quarterback room. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up down below and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as we're going to have more and more videos coming out here in the next couple of weeks, definitely talking more about the draft picks. Thanks again for the time. I hope you have a good one and take care. See ya.